Well, good evening to all of you. Happy New Year to you. It's good to be with you on another wonderful Wednesday evening. And you know what? We've got a lot to talk about because a lot of things happening. And mind you, we're in the silly season. But before we go further, let me wish all of you a happy New Year. It has been a good year for me. As a matter of fact, last year has been pretty good for me. This year has started off really well. We are focused on what we have to do, and we're going to ensure that we get done what is supposed to be done. And so I want to take this time off to say to all of my viewers, every single one of you, near and far, I want to wish you a wonderful 2025. Let me tell you what, you see, this year, 2025, we are going places in 2025. We've got things to do. And in order for us to be able to achieve what we have to do, we have to work together. We have to be in unison on this one because the major goal here is to see the backs of the PPP. That's our major goal. And we cannot see the backs of the PPP if we are not focused on what we have to do. So, my Guyanese brothers, near and far, we've got things to do. I know we've got lots of other persons who are living in Guyana and they are part and parcel of what is happening. As a matter of fact, some of them even have ID cards and they have birth certificates. We have lots of Guyanese, we're told, who were in Venezuela. They've returned home. And we always open our doors to them. And so I want to urge us all to stay focused. You know, the distractions are coming and they're going to increase. The pace of those distractions are going to increase. But you know what? We sailing with our ship. We're going on this voyage and we're going to get to our port of our destination. We're going to get to that port. And so good night to all of you. Good night to my folks in Switzerland and Turkey. Just today, they were reminding me that I have an appointment with them. So here I am. We have our date. Good night to you. I want to extend birthday wishes to all those persons who would have celebrated their birthdays yesterday, the day before, and all those other days. I also want to extend uh, heartfelt condolences to those of our viewers and others who have lost loved ones. Condolences to you from our hearts. We feel your pain as well. And you know, while it's hard to lose your loved ones, I'm hoping that you can use their memories to keep you going on. Well, tonight, our topic tonight is saying the scale not balancing. The scale not balancing. And I want to say to you, call up your friends, call up your friends, call up your families, call up everybody. Let them know advancing the cause is on. Advancing the cause is on. You know, a couple of days ago, I heard a very beautiful song, calypso, as a matter of fact, from I think it's the Ivan. We need a change. But you know what? We sometimes can't play it on these forums because of copyright laws and all kinds of things. We can't play them. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to play a part of it, just a little part of it, before the end of the show or maybe sometime during the show. But let me say to you folks, it's good to be here with you. I know we've not seen each other in the last, 2 or 3 weeks, but I'm here with you and you're going to be seeing much more of me. So on we go tonight, the scale not balancing. And this scale is not balancing on every sector, every aspect. This scale not balancing at all. And I don't know why. And remember, in before 2020, we heard about all of these promises and the promises and the promises from the PPP, but the scale, I don't know what's happening, the scale not balancing. And it reminds me of what used to happen a couple of years ago. You remember they used to say to us, oh, the people stick their scales in the market. And so when you go, whether you call for, when you're purchasing £5 or £7, it's fixed in a particular way. So you don't ever get your full balance. And that is exactly what is happening now, the scale not balancing. And so, you know, we're talking about elections. We're talking about voters list. We're talking about um, registration, house to house registration. We're talking about biometrics. But we're not getting the balance coming from GECOM, the place where it ought to come from. We're not getting it. And we're wondering whether mischief is afoot at GECOM. Well, let me tell you this. We got a nice fancy lady there. That's the fancy lady. Auntie Claudette Singh. Auntie Claudette Singh at GECOM. Auntie Claudette, let me tell you tonight, you got to go. We have no confidence in you, Auntie Claudette. You got to go. Auntie Claudette must go. You see that revelation that came out of GECOM at that press conference, where Auntie Claudette and the folks at GECOM admitted, you know, admitted there that they made a mistake. Auntie Claudette, in these times, you can't afford to make mistakes. You can't afford to make mistakes in these times. These are serious times, and we don't want to hear mistakes. We got mistakes from you already during the 2020 elections, or after the 2020 elections, let me say that. We, during that recount, we heard one thing from you, and then 2 days after you did something else, we heard from you. Invalid votes will not be counted. A day after, you sent the instructions to say those votes are going to be counted. Mind you, I have to remind us that those votes came from boxes upon boxes upon boxes without the statutory documents. Note what I'm saying, without the statutory documents. In those votes, in between those votes, you had the names of dead persons. The death certificates were right there to prove. You had the names of persons who were outside of Guyana, who did not travel to Guyana, but their names were ticked off as them being voters, and they would have voted. Auntie Claudette, we have no more faith in you. We can't trust you. Because to crown it all off, Auntie Claudette comes now to tell us that there's a member of parliament who is sitting in parliament, but she's not supposed to sit there. And we're talking here about Dr. Kissoon. Auntie Claudette, how y'all could make such a mistake? You made a mistake with the recount. The order of 60. You did you used a part of it, and the other part you forego the other part, and you decided to swear in and install the government. And then you come again now, Auntie Claudette, to tell us that you made a mistake, that Dr. Kissoon was not supposed to be sitting in parliament. There's only one person who should have been sitting there, and that's the party with the largest amount of votes. And you know what? You continue to have the parliamentarian sitting there. Auntie Claudette, I don't know, but I'm going to say it tonight. I don't know if you getting a drawback from the salary that parliamentarian is receiving. And mind you, it's not just an ordinary parliamentarian sitting there, but the parliamentarian is also the deputy speaker. That parliamentarian is the deputy speaker. And so lots more fringe benefits are there. Auntie Claudette, we can't afford these kinds of mistakes. No. We can't afford any more mistakes coming from you. You have made too many blunders. Too many blunders for a retired judge. Oh, viewers, y'all help me. We can't take any more of Auntie Claudette. Auntie Claudette got to go. Auntie Claudette is unstable. So she's making all kinds of decisions. The scale on this side one time heavy, then the scale on this side the other time raising up this one side and the other side going down, the scale not balancing. Auntie Claudette, you got to go. You and a few of the folks at GECOM, y'all got to go. We can't take no more of you, Auntie Claudette. And you know what, Auntie Claudette? I am sure you've got some great nieces and some great nephews who might want to listen to some bedtime stories. Go home and sit with them. Tell them bedtime stories. We can't take any more of you, Auntie Claudette. No more. And then, when we finished with Auntie Claudette, Then up comes who? Brutus. Up comes Brutus again. Some $160 billion, I think, is some lawsuit he filing now. But you know what? We believe Brutus, you know. We believe Brutus's claims, where he's talking about how the PPP government, they want to have the police force, the Guyana Defense Force, the prison service, the fire service. They want to have them all with the majority being one ethnic group. Even though history would have shown us that many times when you open the doors, some of the folks can't stand the pressure, the rigorous pressure in terms of the training and all kind of thing. And then you now want to, you're stifling a certain grouping of people. And here Mr. Brutus is saying that he is a victim of that because they can't control him, so they want to stifle him. And there was some document he's talking about too. Look, we believe, I'm no fan of Brutus, but I believe what the man is saying. I believe him. This ethnic balancing and ethnic cleansing, I believe him, because it is not only happening in the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Defense Force. It is clear as day. We are seeing what is happening. Anybody jumping up to the top in these forces, within the police force, the Guyana Defense Force, everybody and their grandmother could run out and run back, and you get big positions. We have to be very careful, and we must be honest with ourselves. If persons cannot perform, then they should not be promoted. I remember when Assistant Commissioner of Police Paul Slow, when he was in charge, when he was heading that commission, when the commission agreed that a certain amount of persons should not be promoted because they had all kinds of issues, and some of them were not eligible. You know what Irfan Ali did? He threw that in a corner. They like to throw things in a corner over their shoulders, you know. They like to do that. So we believe Brutus's story, and we're waiting to see what is going to happen there with that whole issue. And then on we go, and so these are just highlights I'm bringing you from the news. I'm reminding you of some of what is happening. We got the Chinese national, how old? 39 years old, Chinese national, who fell overboard during work on the Demerara, the new Demerara Harbor Bridge, that is, and they found his body 2 days after. Here again, the scale not balancing. Where is the Minister of Labor and his staff and all of this? What do you go out to these work sites to check on the safety protocols that are supposed to be, the protocols that are supposed to be observed? Why are we having so many industrial deaths? Why are we having so many accidents in the workplace, and many of them resulting in deaths? And all you can hear, oh, we have gone out there and to check on the work site, and an investigation has been launched. And then you don't hear people are being held accountable for their misgivings. Now we read an entire script there that talks about, the Chinese national, he was left there working alone. How do you leave one person to work alone over a river? How do you leave one person to work there alone? I mean, the scale ain't balancing. The scale not balancing at all. Look, 2025, according to the Calypsonian, is a time for the change. We need a change. And you know, every time you go to Parliament, you got budgets, and then you got supplementary budgets where monies are allocated to all of these ministries, including the Ministry of Labor, for training program and all sorts of things. But yet you don't have staff to do what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know. I don't know where is Uncle Joe. I don't know where is Uncle Joe. Huh? Where are your occupational health and safety and safety? Where are those officers from that unit? Man, look, I'm just too concerned. I'm concerned about these acts, because one industrial accident resulting in a death is too many. And we've seen several during last year. Early o'clock now, we already got one. And then you're going to see many more because we are not implementing the policies. Once you have friends and families and you're bending the rule here and you're bending the rule there, then it's not going to work. The scale will not balance. Uncle Joe, stop sleeping. Uncle Joe, like you're cold. We tired of hearing an investigation has been launched. An investigation has been launched, and then you don't ever hear about the findings. Come out and do the people work. And this here is it's like the census. Y'all remember the census? Y'all remember the census? We got the census boss there. What's his name? Mr. LaCruz. Mr. LaCruz, the census boss. And up to now, we can't get the report of the findings that was conducted coming out of that census. We can't get a report. Look, the census boss there, Mr. LaCruz. Huh? We can't get the report. Maybe that report is waiting on information that they would have garnered from the cash grant distribution. The report that they're going to compile, they took your name, your address, where you work, and your photograph. Maybe Mr. LaCruz is waiting on that information so that he can present the census report to us. Look how long, Mr. LaCruz. Look how long, and up to now, you can't bring out this census report. What you want to tell me? Huh? This census report, we got it coming like what? Snail or turtle? Which one? Mr. LaCruz, you got to do better than that. You got to do better than you're doing. Better than you're doing, you got to do. And then you know what? We got the big announcement. Big announcement we got from Mr. Irfan Ali the other day. Oh, $130,000 will be given to the ranks at the level of the constable. Bringing the minimum wage up to $130,000. Well, Irfan Ali, you something wrong with you, or you just playing stupid. It got to be one of the two. That's something wrong with you, or you playing dead to see a funeral. I mean, tell me. No wonder the ranks got to be catching their hand otherwise, Right now, many of them, even the level of a corporal is receiving $115,000. So what's $130,000? I mean, come on. Elections time around now, so you're trying to throw all kinds of things out there to solve soap, as we would say, the ranks in the police force and the ranks within the Guyana Defense Force and the prison service and so on. Don't come to people with them nonsense here, finale. What's $130,000 when house rent is $60,000+? Huh? House rent is 60 plus. No wonder them ranks doing all kind of thing, No wonder the ranks doing all kind of thing. We got is Corporal Young. Is Corporal Young? Man, look, so many of the people in the police force, all kind of thing happening too. We saw a prison officer being held with narcotics at Mazruni when he returned to Mazruni prison. They got to make money somewhere else. Why you think the traffic police are always on the road looking for it? Because 115,000 and 130, and this 130,000 is that what you're going to get now? You got to wait for the budget before you get it. Wait till after budget and then you'll get that. So this young man now was caught with marijuana, and he has pleaded guilty because he didn't want to waste the people time. He pleaded guilty. He has been sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. We got two members from the SWAT unit held with imported marijuana. What we really doing? What are we really doing? If you pay the people well, then the people ain't got to do that. If you pay them well, they don't have to do that. So we got the magistrate, not the magistrate, we got the prison officer, then we got the two guys, and then we got somebody else who was caught with, look, This thing here, sir, it ain't easy. We got the prison officers, we got the two from the SWAT team, and the other one who was caught with marijuana, I think is Mr. Young. Come on. If you pay them well, then they don't have to do these kinds of things. They don't have to do that because they're going to be satisfied. And then, oh, Corporal Young was the young man who's been charged with the offense of abduction. Corporal Young. So you see why these policemen got to do all kind of thing? Huh? You see what they and so he has been remanded. He has been remanded to prison. Crazy, 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 crazy. Irfan Ali, come with something better for the police officers. Come with something better. Look at your salary. Look at the salary of some of your ministers. Look at the salary of your attorney general. Come on. Exchange your salary for 1 month with a teacher or a policeman or somebody. Go down the line. This month here, January, exchange your salary with a prison officer. And let's see if you can live on his salary. Next month, exchange your salary, either you or the attorney general, exchange your salary with the salary of a teacher. And the other month, maybe the minister of health or the prime minister, exchange your salary with with a nurse or some other worker in this country. And let's see what will happen. Look, all this big flam with y'all, the people not buying it. We're not buying it. This craziness with y'all, we're not buying it at all because we know it's the silly season and y'all gonna come with a lot of foolishness. We're not buying it. We ain't buying this at all, at all. And then the cash grant. Oh, I tell you, look, some people ain't got no shame. Some people ain't got none shame. Like the older folks would say, something wash out your shame. Something wash out something. They have a saying that they would say. Crap will jump your hand. Something, man, they would say that you don't got no more shame. These people jump up $200,000 instantaneously. You receive $200,000 cash grant. In 2 days' time, 100,000, and the 200 will not be paid now. It will be paid in about 5 months' time. That's the real president talking there. Cash grant, cash grant, cash grant, no cash grant. Some get, others can't get, and it reminds us. You remember the COVID cash grant and the pink slip that some persons received and still holding on to now? The cash grant. Cash grant reminds us of that exercise as well. That exercise as well, the cash grant reminds us of. Because it's sheer scampishness, the scale imbalancing, sheer scampishness going on with them. Corruption upon corruption and more corruption with the cash grant. And so they're jumping around cash grant. And oh man, oh gosh. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. Look what they had the teachers doing. Y'all think these people easy? Look how they had the teachers. Look how they had the teachers. Thanks to Gordon Mosley. Look how they had the teachers and Sherrod Duncan for the footages that they shared with us. Look how they had the nation's educators, the molders of the nation. Look how they got them with umbrella, sheltering from rain and sun to collect that $100,000. And then the sad part of it is when those teachers stood out there for all these hours, when you actually got inside and you said your name, Coretta McDonald, they look in this, they look here, it's not here. Oh, go over that side. You went over that side, it's not there. Oh, go to that other table, it's not there. Oh, go to the other. Oh, sorry, you'll have to re-register. That kind of madness. And remember, they took every teacher's name down. They took your information, took out your picture. And yet when you turn up there, your name is not listed there. The big announcement, oh, teachers, but you see this girl, Priya ain't got no shame. Cockroach eat out she conscience. Cockroach eat she conscience right out. She ain't got no shame. None shame whatsoever. And you know what would have emboldened her? The fact that she went to the US ambassador's residence and cussed him out there. That has emboldened her. So she feel, she got this Tyra girl flair around her about her. She got no shame. These are your teachers. These are your teachers who cause you to shine all the time. At grade 6, at CSEC, at Cape, Guyana top in the Caribbean. And this is how you are treating your teachers. I'm still very upset about the manner with which teachers were treated, because you know what? When it was the distribution of the children's cash grant, the same teachers were used to aid the smooth flow of that process. And you know what? You had schools, the schools being used, their auditoriums being used, and parents were sitting in those auditoriums. You had a mini concert, you had fancy backdrop where they were told, head teachers were told, they don't want any green material being used. Yes, head teachers were told that. But when it's time for the $100,000, you got your teachers stand up like this. Look, Priya. That's Priya there. That's how Priya got Priya to treat into teachers. I think this is one set at St. Stanis. This is at St. Stanislaus. At Bartica was moderation at Bartica. If you see the scrambling, pushing, that. In this bunch, you had pregnant teachers, all kind of thing. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. Priya done hold out that they can't give the teachers more than 10%. Hold out, they can't give the teachers more than 10%. And just 1 month later, the government was able to identify $60 billion. They got 30 and they said they're going to Parliament to get the other 30. $60 billion was identified for this cash grant, but you couldn't find $12 billion to give teachers a substantive increase. You couldn't find that. And this is how much you love the teachers. This is how much you love the teachers. And you know why some people can't get their cash grant up to now? Because the monies are being used otherwise. They got people in Region 3 who they're giving $250,000 grant. They got people in Region 5, in Region 6, some in Georgetown, who they're giving $250,000 grant. So you can't have monies to pay everybody. People still got to wait. And you know what? Up to now, they can't come out to tell this nation how many of our citizens have received the $100,000. How many have received so far? You're not hearing anything. Some things are top secret for them. You know why? Because the scale ain't balancing. The thieving too much. Skullduggery too much. Corruption too much. Too much. So the scale can't balance. It cannot balance. No way it can't balance because of the nonsense that y'all doing. Now, I mean, it's so many things we got to talk about. So many things we got to talk about. I saw Minister Robeson Ben the other day talking about how much the amount of narcotics that was seized in 2024. 6,000 kgs of narcotics was seized in 2024, and he said out of that there you had 50 point something of that, or wherever it is, 5,000 something, 5,094 kgs of that was cocaine, 6,000 pounds or whatever kgs, and 5,094 was cocaine. Mr. Ben, you want to tell us how much of that was destroyed? Do you care to tell the nation how much of that was destroyed? Because we know for sure that some of that back on the streets. We know that some of it is back on the streets. You can't tell us, we know the story. We're not gonna forget, Sean Hines said it on national television on an interview that they used to go to Eve Leary, CID at Eve Leary, to collect the guns. And he was part of the squad. Sean Hines said it to us that they used to go there and they were given different types of weapons on different occasions. So they got nothing you could hide from us. So we want to know if all the cocaine, all of that cocaine and the marijuana was destroyed. I mean, this is crazy, crazy, crazy. The scale not balancing at all. The scale not balancing, it not balancing at all, the scale not balancing. And then we got a man sitting there. But before we go there, I want to extend condolences to this pretty little girl, 9-year-old Karima, I think is her name, Karima Passad, 9-year-old Karima Passad, who met an untimely death. Or guardian was watching over her. And you see, this is what happens. You know, everybody got to be on the streets, everybody got to find a work, because the little pittance that they're giving to public servants, it can't sustain you and your family. So the little girl was there with her caregiver, and bop, maybe she was pulling the gate or something, bop, iron gate fell on her. And she died. She sustained injuries, and by the time they took her to Skeldon Hospital, she died. So sad, so very sad. I think she's 7 years old. I know she's a pupil. I think she's a pupil of Skeldon Primary School, a pupil attached to Skeldon Primary School. So she's no longer there with us, and I'm sure, you know, that child must have had lots and lots of aspirations, but. And again, police are conducting an investigation, and we will wait to hear what is coming out of that investigation. But then we got this big fancy word that we talk about, that we hear: appeal. Oh, Anil Nandalal. Yes, you can't stop it. Anil Nandalal is the man. Anil appeals every single thing. As long as it's not in his favor, he appealing it. For what reason, I don't know. And when decisions doesn't go in his favor, he cussing the magistrates, he cussing the judges, he cussing everybody. Everybody Anil cussing. Now, the judge awarded $24 million to Quinton Bacchus's family. Oh gosh. All you people shoot the boy wrongfully. Killed him. And the judge awarded the family $24 million. Anil decided these people must not get this money. Look, this Anil, you see face down there, is sheer wickedness. You see in Anil's face. Anil decides that he's appealing that. But elections here, you know. So here comes Mr. Irfan Ali speeding down the road. Anil, shut up, you're doing that. Pull that thing back. Let the people get the money. I mean, Anil, what you name? You maybe because your name begin with A, Anil. So appeal is your middle name? I don't think so. So Anil appeals the Quinton Bacchus $24 million judgment. Anil has appealed, and folks, you have to know these things. Anil has appealed the decision of the judge when it came to the salary cut for the nurses in Linden. You remember when the nurses were on strike in Linden with Smalley? It was said that the nurses, their monies must not be cut. They cut their monies, and they went to court, and the court gave judgment in favor of the nurses. Anil has appealed that. Anil has appealed that. I don't know if Anil is Lord and God unto himself. Well, I know Anil wanted to be president, so maybe he feels that being the Attorney General, he's a president in his own right. Anil appealed that. Jesus. They appeal Annette Ferguson, you member of Parliament, Annette Ferguson, who won judgment against Jagdeo, the Vice President. They have appealed that. Gosh. The teacher's judgment, Anil appealed that. And these are the people who talk about how much they love people and they care about the people. Y'all did not put this system in place for the teachers to be able to work. Y'all were at fault. Y'all weren't ready to talk to the teachers union. When we submitted to you, you were submitted since 2020. You were given a copy of the proposal. You dragged it out. No intention of talking with the teachers union. And then when the teachers took action, you got a problem with it. You got a problem with it when the teachers took action. And so the judge said that you cannot cut the teachers' pay. The judge also said that the deduction of the dues must be reinstated, because that was an arrangement you had with the union for a number of years, just the same way you have the arrangement with other unions. Anil's intention, and this is what they do, as long as they can't control you, they try to cut everything else around you. So Anil's intention and Barajagyo's intention is to cripple the GTU. So they've decided they're not going to honor the judgment of the court. Now that right there is contempt of court, And Anil, as the Attorney General, feels that he could breach everything. He doesn't have to obey any ruling. This man, Anil, is a wicked man, wicked man, evil man. Everything he appealing. But I like how Irfan stomp you down. Leave the people. Don't appeal it. Pull it back. I don't know when this guy can learn. I don't know when Anil is going to learn. Anil, you got so many issues against you. Just the other day, I see a whole lot of things surface on Facebook. Huh? I'm still waiting to hear you. I'm still waiting to see the court documents that you send into the social media app. But here you go now. You're jumping in something else. Is a form of distraction, huh? How they buy. But I know all eyes on you can they trust you. Because all them information will come out there. You tell them about Barajag, your 2 children. They ain't trust you no more. But talking about that one, imagine we had to wait for Prime Minister Modi to come to this country to know that Barajag, you got 2 daughters. Oh yeah, like the one. We had to wait for Prime Minister Modi to come to this country for Barajagyo to show us that he got 2 daughters. I mean, what's the secret about? You're a public figure, and so your life is no longer private. Huh? And we taxpayers' monies paying you and giving you all the allowances and so for you to travel here, there, and you're carrying families around the place. But I'm wondering, I want to find out if you just make the declaration when you fill up the integrity declaration form. The declaration form to submit to the Integrity Commission. I wonder if you just declare it there. Integrity Commission, you all need to check. You need to check to see if Barajagyo would normally declare everything there, because it got a part which talks about your spouse and family and children. These people are a set of wicked people. Wicked people. As Sharon would say, they must trench propose and they stink and they're dirty. They're a set of wicked, evil people. A set of wicked people. Well, look, I know what we can do with them. Trust me. But I know one thing we could do with them. One thing we could do with them is vote them out. That's what I know we can do with them. Vote them out. So Anil always attacking the judges and the magistrates. Every time. And you know what? When he collected those law books, Anil, you pay for them? Anil, did you pay for those law books? Did you return those law books? Anil, you got lots on you, You just disgusting, Anil. Huh? You just disgusting. You're always attacking, you're appealing. And you know what? We got a whole lot of cases bundled up there that cannot be heard because those positions are not being filled. Fill the gaps, Anil. On top of that, the opposition leader, Comrade Norton, Member of Parliament, has already given the green light for those 2 women to be appointed. Oh, Anil. How Irfan. Oh gosh, come on. Why is it that we cannot appoint these 2 women Is what is the criteria change? Huh? The conditions change? What happened? They are the two most senior judges, and they cannot be appointed to those positions, the position of chancellor and the position of chief judge. Why y'all don't want to appoint them? Is it because of their ethnicity? Huh? Is it because of their ethnicity? We talking here about Roxanne Wiltshire, George, or Roxanne George Wiltshire, and we talking here about Yonette Cummins. I mean, these two distinguished women would have given their all to this country and still giving. Oh man, what y'all waiting for? Y'all waiting for them to retire? And then you're going to find somebody that you want to put there that can do your bidding? That's what you're waiting for? Oh, come on, man. Appoint the two people. Appoint the two people. But you know what? I'm so happy. I am so happy that the Bar Association came out. I'm happy that I saw that coming from the Bar Association. But I hear a word from people like Priya, Sonia, Charles, Sanjeev. Not a word from them. Not a word from them. Not a single word from them, and they're all attorneys. Not a word. Attorneys and senior counsel. Not a word from them in support of these two women. And so it leaves us to wonder why the scale not balancing. Is it because of their ethnicity, or is it because of their gender? Why you're not appointing them? Which one? What's the reason for you not appointing them? Y'all nasty. Nasty. Appoint the two damn women and let it go. I see y'all appoint, you appoint Clifton Hickens the other day. Oh man, the same time you were doing that, why you can't fix them for the two women get their appointment too? Huh? How long more they have to wait? Well, they got to wipe their shoes? What they got to do? But it ain't gonna happen if that's what you're waiting for. Wickedness to the highest extent. Wickedness. But you know what? I leave y'all in the hands of Maduro. I'm leaving y'all in the hands of Maduro. You're going to see just now, as soon as Maduro starts heating up his campaign, you're going to hear how the national songs will start playing on television and on the radios. And you will hear, you will see the flyers coming out again. Essequibo is ours. Essequibo belongs to Guyana. It's we own. Essequibo is we own. And then you can hear the talk about we're all Guyanese. Then is when Irfan will know that we're all Guyanese. Irfan will know then that he and the opposition leader should be singing from the same page. You can hear them, these scamps, these rascals, they will come then to tell us that. But when Maduro tore off, no more national songs, no more Essequibo belong to us. You don't see the walkabout and so on and so on and so on. Huh? The scale is settling. You know why the scale is settling? Because y'all uneasy. Y'all uneasy. That's why the scale not settling. Because you recognize citizens have read the script. And citizens have started underlining the words. They've started circling them. They've started scratching them, because these are all empty promises that you gave us. You remember when you told us that you were going to give us 50% salary increases? Irfan Ali was in parliament as an opposition member, and he talked about, what about the teachers? What about the nurses? What about the policemen? You're forgetting them now. Huh? More than 20% increase. Sonia said it was photoshopped. They didn't say that. Why y'all so wicked? Huh? Why y'all so wicked? I mean, y'all scale could never balance. And I figure by now, with all them things that coming up, I see Barra Jagdio Tekti, he cuss out Thursdays, and he decide, oh, people who want to run for office and president, and what will happen, and what scrutiny and what not scrutiny. Jagdio, you got plenty, not only scrutiny, you got plenty skeletons, because you have not yet accounted to this nation for all of those black young men who were killed all those extrajudicial killing, you've not yet accounted for it. You have not yet said to us, where is Sue? Huh? Tell us about the arrangements with you and Sue. You're stuttering? You're going to stutter more. You're going to stutter more. During your presidency, you must tell us about all those ills, all those mothers who were bawling, all those wives and children, mothers who have been bawling, some of them still crying up to now. You must tell us about that period under your term as president. You must tell us about your stewardship. Everything for you, Marijan, every single thing couldn't balance. The elephant, the white elephant had scaled on there. The fiber optic cable. You remember them, Jagvio? Huh? Couldn't balance, or they can't balance. King liar, Jagvio. I'm sorry that we can't play this song. Huh? I'm sorry that we can't play this song. You beat all, boy. You beat all. All you beat King Jagvio. I mean, these are things that these people got on them, mounting up on them. No wonder the scale can't balance. And then they want to talk about other people. They want to throw all kind of tantrums and so on. When Jagvio throwing tantrums, he passed it on to your Priya. But I'm very upset that this same Priya that throwing tantrums now, she was twiddling her fingers. She could hardly talk. Huh? She could hardly talk at the 5:30 meeting with all those projects that you submitted there that you fully well knew. Huh? Isn't that me, Cesar? It was live for all of us to see where you were called out. Yes, and Priya Manickchand. Yes, Priya Manickchand, you submitted this, Priya Manickchand. Priya Manickchand, that wicked woman there. That wicked woman there. You know, the teachers weren't wrong when they said back then that Priya is a wild hog. She wild bad. Wild girl. And just like how the mad bull just run around, is just as she just move around. She doesn't sit and analyze anything. She's always ready to abuse, cuss out. If you ask her a question and the question is a question that bears a whole lot of truth, man, if you see how she does a wiggle, all she bumps this raise up. All she bumps this raise up. Priya, come on. Come on, Priya. If we check there, you check to see what Priya has done during her tenure as minister. Then and now, failure. Priya got the 20 lives under her belt. You remember the 20 students and the 19 students and the pupil from Madhya? Priya got them under her belt. Priya got that. That's a big belt Priya wearing around her waist. That's why she can't settle. That belt even sliding up, coming up to her throat. She can't settle. 20 lives, one blow. 20. And these are the people who try to tell you that they are this and they are that and they are the other and how much she cares. And you know what really freaks me out with this woman? Is this mask that she would put on her face when she walking around to these communities and she gone to hug up people's children when she don't care three hang about the people's children. Imagine Priya had the teachers out there for 75 days. That hung Priya. Wicked girl. 75 days the nation's teachers were on the streets all across this country. About having the teachers' salaries increased. Just the same way she had them out there in the sun and the rain to collect the $100,000. I mean, your ministry could have done something better for those teachers. Your ministry should have insisted. But I know what happened. You, with your wickedness, would have said to them. They've been out there in sun and rain during the strike. They could stand up out there again. Wickedness, Priya, that's why the scale can't balance. But I want to remind our viewing audience And I want to remind you, Priya, that the highest salary increase teachers has ever gotten in this land, or teachers have ever gotten in this land, it was under the coalition government, Priya. Priya, it was under the coalition government. Under the coalition government, teachers received their salary increases, and you know what? It was tax free. Tax free. We're going to show you that just now. We're going to show you it just now. So we don't come here and just talk. The evidence is there. The evidence is there. The biggest increase in teachers' salary in Guyana's history occurred in 2018. And yes, the teachers took industrial action in 2018. But you know what? That industrial action lasted for 9 days. 9 days. You know what? Because they got better sense than you. That was a government that was caring and considerate. 5 of those days were during the holiday period. 4 of those days occurred when school reopened. So it was 9 days. During the week of preparation, the 5 days. And then 4 days when school reopened for the new term. And then the talks started. And the agreement was reached. Teachers returned to school on the Friday of that first week. Not you. 75 days teachers were out of school, and you talking about your care. Huh? And so the evidence is right there. That is facts. That is facts right there. You can't dispute that. And you know what? You know what about this? Is that the teachers received these monies tax-free. Tax-free. The agreement was signed by the GTU and the Ministry of Education, and by extension the government, and teachers received their increases dating back to 2016. You know, Priya, you're a wicked girl. And mind you, we had no oil monies then. We had no oil monies then. No oil monies we had then. And you know what was even better? The teachers at the lowest level of the scale got the highest salary increase. Not everybody getting the same thing across the board. And that is why the scale can't balance with y'all, Priya. Because of greed and arrogance and pettiness. That's why the scales can't balance. And so we go on from there. You know this blame game? They like to blame. They like to blame. So the Minister of Agriculture blaming GECOM, the GECOM top brass, for the poor performance of the sugar industry and low sugar output. Poor performance. He blaming somebody. Somebody can blame somebody. Somebody, like how Priya does blame people. I see Priya the other day. When it's not Granger, when it's not Forbes Barnum, and you know, they talked about Forbes Barnum having people back in his day when he was president. Forbes Barnum used to have people lining up in lines. Priya, what y'all do now? Anil, what y'all do? Airfront and Jaguar, what did you people do? Huh? You had people lining up for frostbitten $100,000. $100,000. 60 gone in rent. The 40 that remaining, it didn't even do to go in the market. Because if we show you, you'll see a piece of pumpkin, $900 and $700. Tomatoes, $1,200. Sweet pepper, wherever $900, $1,200, $1,000. So tell me how people are supposed to live. Huh? Tell me. But y'all just, your thing is, you are the elite group, and the masses, you don't have value for them except when it comes to period, and when it comes around to this period here, silly season, when you want their votes. When you want their votes, you come and you're so nice with them, but you're not doing anything to deal with cost of living. You know why? Because you folks don't have to face the marketplace. You don't have to face the marketplace, so you don't care. You just don't care because you don't have to face the marketplace. And that is wickedness. Wickedness to the highest extreme. Well, we got a big one for talk about now. I don't know how we going about this one. This is a big, big one. We got is what the company name? The company got a fancy name. I was trying to figure out who the front part. You know, when you have a child, you try to give the child make a name with part of the father's name and part of the mother's name, and you put that part together. You put the two pieces together, and you get a name for your child. So I'm trying to see is who on this company. It got Sain behind. I know they got Saddam Hussein. I know is what Hussein, some Hussein lived the PSET education name. And Outar Hussein, something Outar Hussein name. So I seen this company name Orgrasein. 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 Well, I don't know if Saddam trying to do a little camouflage thing there. I don't know. I don't know if the PSET education, if this saying is shown. But this group in here, this general contracting company, oh, this got to be a sweet, sweet company. And this company got to be a family favorite and friends company. Got to be. Because let me tell you what, this company was awarded in 2020, 2019, 2020, wherever it was. It was awarded a contract for the rehabilitation of the Coven John police station. $47+ million, $47.4 million. In 2023, this one company in 2023, oh my God, if you see contracts with Collect, in 2023, this one company, the company got the contract for the installation of the AC infrastructural work and units for Christchurch. The company also got, and that first part was 10.7 million. That was for the installation of the AC infrastructure and the units. And then the company got another $6.7 million for installing the fire prevention unit. So you notice 1, 2, 3. Then again, 2023, the very same company got $135 million contract to rebuild St. Mary's Primary School. There got to be something sweet about this company. Got to be something sweet. This company reminds me of GPC. The new GPC, this company here reminds me of them. It's 40 contracts. Them alone get 40. Then again, this company got contract now for Caneville Secondary. Caneville Secondary, $74 million. Then the new teacher at Myconi TVET Center, $91 million. And then in 2025, the Western Wing for Queen's College. This one company. You see why the completion dates are always delayed? You see why we can't complete the work on time? Because we got too many contracts. Too many contracts to build school, to do this additional work, to do too many contracts one company is receiving. I mean, come on. When we send these tenders to MP tab, is what? They just close their eyes, put their hand in a bag, and feel for the thing, you know, something you put on the paper, maybe some little glue you put on at the edge of the envelope or something, and you put your hand and you feel and you feel for that particular one, and you pull out. So you got or Grassine, or Grassine, or Grassine, as in Hussein, or Grassine. Is say this do it? Y'all tell me how the thing is do. Make one contracting company that's collect all these contracts. I mean, you see why the scale not balancing? The scale can't balance when we got all this kind of nonsense going on. But here now, Queen's College, the Bishop's High School, I mean, is what? Just the other day, Queen's College celebrated 180 years of being in existence. You know, I was following that, and I hear no announcement, Let me tell y'all what, education in shambles. Education in shambles is a whole lot of square pegs in round holes. And who's not friend to Priya? Is your family? Is this one? Is that one? Is the other one? Some uncle daughter, some cousin son, something, this, somebody friend, somebody wife, a sister-in-law, something. Is share friends and family. And who not friends and friends? Who not family? Who not friends? Their favorites. Is them take over the ministry all over. You check all the departments of education, you'll see what you see there. Senior officers, many of them, they're sidelined. Once you can't toe the line with them, you're being sidelined. The contracts, when they got the workshops, don't talk about them workshops, them literacy workshops and so on. We get Queen's College right there. We hold the Queen's College right there. When you talk about some of the workshops, literacy workshop and this workshop and the workshop, of interest, because some officer who in charge of the workshop, who's under whose portfolio this workshop is going to be had, they're providing the food, they're providing the stationery, they're providing the snack, they provide every single thing. It's not conflict of interest. When the books got to be printed, y'all forget them books at the print? Huh? You ask Auntie Priya, let she tell us who printed those books. You ask her who printed those books. Friend, family's favorites, man. And no wonder we could have had wrong spelling, wrong social studies information, wrong multiplication information. We still got it in some of the textbooks that they have there. Some of those new texts, the new ones that come again. Wrong information in those things. Education in shambles, 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 shambles. Priya is petty. She's arrogant. She's a pig. She's a this. She's a that. She's a bully. She's a tyro girl. She likes to scream. She doesn't settle. So the scale can't balance. I know right now what she's doing if she sit down. And this is SIDDUNG, sit down. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's doing. Is she sit down? Or is she sitting? Or if she's standing? Because if you're sitting, you already sit down. So I know where this sit down this come from. But if she sit down, or she's sitting, or she's standing, y'all tell Priya for me. Arrogance don't make it. When they blame Burnham, they're blaming Hoyt. When they blame Hoyt, they're blaming Birds. When they blame Birds, they're blaming Granger. When they're blaming Granger, it's Coretta McDonald and the PNC. Is everybody you're finding a blame for. But you know what? I'm happy. I mean, Nigel Dharamlal is not my friend. But I'm happy that Nigel Dharamlal had to tell Priya publicly that she is a failure. That she is a failure. And the couple of things that is happening within the education sector is not her doing, even though they said, even though Efren went to the university in IFLUT, the turning of the wheel in education is not her doing. Dharamlal said so. It's not her doing. It is the driving force. The driving force behind that is Irfan Ali. Nigel said so to her. Nigel Dharamlal told her that on Facebook. Nigel said that to her. So don't come bigging up yourself, Priya, because it's not your work. That's why Irfan could have handled you. I'm sorry we don't have the clipping. That's why he could have handled you. at the 5:30 meeting. But look, man, look. We got Dorcas Nursery School. The school is clustered. The children are cramped in that school. And they ain't looking to do nothing with that school. You know where Dorcas Primary School, Nursery School is? Right by Pleasance. Right by Pleasance. If you're going east, it's just before, a little before the police station. Dorcas Nursery School. They ain't doing nothing with that school. Nothing they're doing to improve. Nothing. No, you know what they want to do? They want to scatter out the children because you know what? That's prime land. So somebody probably eyeing it up already. So they want to send the children. They probably want to divide the children and send them to other schools, other nursery schools. But they ain't looking to do any work to expand that school. We got Charlestown Secondary. You see it make news the other day. Everything got to be a big blow up. And then Priya just pull in shell a little and get it done. And then she don't jump out again. She can't settle. Charlestown Nursery School. Pigeons tormenting the teachers there. Pigeons tormenting the teachers there. I couldn't see the comment that the viewer put up there. But Charlestown Secondary. We got the 4 secondary schools the 4 secondary schools in Linden. I ain't come to them yet. So we got Charlestown Secondary, the pigeons tormenting the teachers and the learners. They can't sit in peace. In the classroom, they're sitting there, the pigeons down in. You got sticks and all kind of thing, pieces and so on. They're falling down on the students. The students going to eat pigeon dung. Then they got a whole lot of fleas. Teachers itching, learners itching. They got fleas and so on all over the place. No, nothing they ain't do to this school. Imagine school was closed for 3 weeks, nothing. The teachers now had to sit in as a form of protest. They had to withhold their service, and then everybody rushed down there to aid them. So school is out for the rest of the week. I mean, in this enlightened day, with a country with the fastest growing economy, with a $1.146 trillion budget last year and several other supplementary budgets. And this is what our students are faced with. You got the 4 secondary schools in Linden. Well, we know, Linden is not them own. They can't get Linden, so they're stifling the people in Linden. 4 secondary schools in Linden. And every minute is mosquito infestation, is mosquito flooding under the school, the building there, like it don't fall down. The building leaking. They ain't doing nothing. Breakdown Secondary, if you see the condition of Breakdown Secondary, you got to take a walk in there. They ain't looking to do anything much to these schools. You know where Breakdown Secondary is? In East Penitence. So them areas is not them areas. Bushlot Secondary, West Coast Berbice. A plank fell on a parent's head, burst the woman's head. And Priya decided she's going to do anything to rehabilitate that school. I mean, I don't care because you're going to hear she can jump out to say it's the region and the region have to look after what is happening there. The blasted school, you govern it. You are the Minister of Education, so it falls, the school and the manner with which it is operating, it comes under you. If you want to talk about the region, you should allow the regional people to go there and declare open this and declare open that and turn sod. You shouldn't go and turn it. We got Port Kaituma Primary and Secondary, because they're tilled so far and people are seeing them. That's how you treat people. You got Tugville Secondary and Tugville Primary. That was a whole big hullabaloo. A whole big hullabaloo to get something done there. Winifred Gaskin Secondary, well, I hear that one there. I hear they're planning to sell that one to ExxonMobil. I hear they're planning to sell it. But let me tell you all, you see that school? That school was built through self-help. the residents within Liverpool, Lancaster, Manchester, Ulverston, Alness, Hoxtyle, Limnere, and Nurney, and so on, those residents there, through self-help, they built that school. And that school was built when the PPP were in government, but those Afro-Guyanese people, they had to build that school through self-help. Because you know what? It was when the PPP were creating confusion, and they like to go this race way and create division amongst our people. And so they were instilling all kinds of things in the minds of those people. And so the residents there within those villages that I called, they couldn't pass certain villages on the quarantine, like Klein and Letterkenny and Bloomfield and Tain and so on. They couldn't pass there, so they built that school so their children could be educated. And y'all want to come now to say that you want to delete history? Huh? It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen, Priya. So the talks that you're having, you better carry. No, you got secondary. Oh man, you got Pokwani secondary. But they're doing nothing to the primary and the secondary school. You got Aichuni. They're doing nothing to these schools. But you notice Queen's College, like I said earlier, Queen's College just celebrated 180 years. They just celebrated that. Just celebrated that. And you have not said anything to anyone, not even to alert the parents. I mean, we just seeing all the time that this school, when it was leaning, it ain't balancing, whatever, and it's unsafe. You just seeing that all the time, Priya. Schools were out for 3 weeks. Not a word. Now this big fancy gallop. And I noticed one member of the board, Dawn Cush, submitted her resignation because, as far as she's concerned, it is disrespect to the board because nothing never went to the board. And of course, you know, Madam Wildhog, there's no conflict of interest. No conflict of interest. So that is Dawn there who submitted her resignation because Dawn decided this is nonsense. I ain't taking it. The chairman of the board, he drew the plan. I mean, it's good when we have persons with that kind of expertise and they're on the boards and so on. But how you there and you're doing work, and then the team comprises other people in the team. Oh my, I don't want to hear the names. Who in security and safety control consultant is this consultant, is the consultant. All of them making money and it's not conflict of interest. But Priya girl, let me tell you what. You love to flip the script to talk about, oh, people don't want this to happen and people don't want that to happen. We are happy, and any Guyanese citizen would be happy to see schools being built and schools being rehabilitated because we want our children to be safe. But we don't want willy-nilly happenings, overnight happenings. Now you're going to send those children home because you're going to demolish an entire wing. Children home. Who will be supervising those children when they're at home? Huh? Who's supervising them? Who are you going to provide the necessary gadgets that they need? Huh? Or you're putting the parents in more expense now? Don't rate everybody like you, because everybody ain't got computer and tablet and laptop like you and your children and your engineer husband, who I'm happy for. But everybody not like you. So you're putting the parents, the little squeaky $100,000 that you give them, you're sending them to spend it out now, which some might have already spent. So they got to be at home. More food and snack has got to be provided for them. Are you going to assure us that we're going to get a ready supply of electricity? Are you going to reassure us that the internet connectivity, there will be a ready supply? Who paying for this extra connectivity? You know, Priya, you're wild. You're wild. Teachers could pressure you though. Teachers could tame you. Because pressure cooker, this pressure anything, you know, yard, fowl, wild hog, anything. It is disgusting the way you operate. People can't understand and deal with your foolishness. And before you admit that you will have done something wrong by not having open consultation, you're ready to lash out. You're ready to cuss out. I know you like to call the Corettas and Coretta McDonald. I know you like that name. Just the same way, I have to call your name out. And when I call your name out, then you flip the coin and you talk about, oh, we don't like this. How were y'all finding all these monies? 4 years plus you have been minister. How all these things been doing? And since then you were collecting oil resources. Since then you were collecting the billions in the budget. Why all of these things could not have been done since then? But now, elections year, you're galloping like wild horse. The same horse that they throw you off. You're galloping like wild horse now. You're turning sud here, you're turning sud there. And the craziness in all of this is that we have schools. We have schools that needs rehabilitation. But you're not finding time to do that. But it's Queen's College. And then the same thing I'm hearing is happening at the Bishop's High. It's okay. Y'all go fix North Rumville Secondary, the school the other day that was rebuilt, and it's still in fix yet. And hundreds of millions were spent to rehabilitate, to rebuild that one. And yet you can't put there an electric bell. You'd have ringing a grandfather bell like a damn jackass. In these modern days, you go to St. Lucia, you go to Suriname, go to Trinidad right behind there, and you'll see what happens in their schools. And you want to parade yourself around here when you're doing not one damn thing, except for make yourself a monkey around the place. The scales can't balance because the people who are supposed to balance the scales are not allowed to do what they have to do. Queen's College, we will continue to monitor what is happening there. And we must know who owns the company. We must know who owns that company. And then you know what they'd like to do? They like to part off the work in sections and give this person this part and that person that part. And yeah, like what they did with the roads. That's why some of the roads where you're going on them, you're going up, down, up, down, up, down, bump up, bump up, bump up road. That's how the PPP intend to operate. So now it's sheer helter-skelter business they're running. So the scale can't balance. Helter-skelter business they're doing. But the Guyanese people know what to do. In 4 years, you couldn't give them 100,000. But at the end of when coming closer to elections, you come in and bring 100,000 and give them. And then we know that more will come. But folks, let me tell you what to do. Take the monies because they belong to you. It's your money. Take it. Take the money because it's yours. But you know where to go and put that X. Another 5 years of the PPP government, we will become worse than our brothers and sisters in Haiti. Because if they're trampling on you now, imagine if you give them another term in office, what they will do to you. Don't bother with all them fancy gallop that you're seeing. And people running here endorsing, and people running there endorsing, and people endorsing and all kind of craziness. The masses out here suffering. The masses out here suffering. In these enlightened days, Public servants can't buy house lots. They got to go to the bank to get monies to buy house lots. And you know what you do? You call them in and you tell them, oh, the house lot costs X amount and you have to pay half of it now. And then we give you some time to pay the other half. Where the hell that you think they're finding 600,000 from and 800,000 from? Because you got land selling lower than 1.2 of them kind of monies. Huh? And then that's only for the piece of land. They still have to go and build. And then you're giving them time frame within which they must build. We want a thief. You want them to go and do drugs. Talking about doing drugs. I know a minister's niece was caught into the Chenny Jagan International Airport. And up to now, I can't hear whether that young lady was sentenced. I know she was sent for some evaluation, and I ain't hearing nobody else being sent for evaluation. But she was sent for evaluation. I tell you, when you're big, you're large. When you're big, you're large. As a matter of fact, I saw somebody posting a picture of the young lady sitting at cricket. So you see why the scale can't balance? Scale can't balance. Corruption upon corruption upon corruption. But operator, we have some photographs there that I want our viewers to have a view of some of these photographs. Maybe you could just pass them on the screen. Let's see them. So our viewers would know some of these persons that we're talking about when we have to talk about them. We got a very, 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 we got a good looking young man there, but the good looking young man can't function. He doesn't know how to operate in his position. A good looking young man. But you know what? When you standing up so and a noose around your neck, you can't push forward too much or pull back too much. Well, push forward. You can't push yourself forward too much or pull too far behind because you're gonna get choked. When they got thing over your head, you gotta be careful how you budge in. And so we got a very goodly gentleman that I bring to you. Operator, you want to show us that goodly gentleman? If you can show us that goodly gentleman, we'd be happy. But again, this issue with Queen's College, we're not going to allow it to rest. This issue with bishops, we're not going to allow it to rest because these are students. Priya talk all the time about contact hours and losing contact hours. And now look what is happening here. Children learn better when they are in classrooms, when they are with their peers, they learn better. Studies have shown that. Studies have shown that. It has been proven. While we have students who are exceptional and they're blessed with talents that they can sit by themselves and do work and learn, other students are not blessed that way. They're not blessed that way. So come on. We got to do the things proper. We got to do the things proper. So, operator, the goodly gentleman that I bring to you, that we want to present to you, you have that one. Queen's College business can't go like that. We got to find out the facts. We have to find out the facts about some of the others. Some of the others. Yes, the goodly gentleman that we have there. I think the gentleman with a fancy T-shirt and so on in that same fancy gentleman we want to have, Look, you see. Operator, you might want to pull it up some more so that the viewers can see properly. There's this gentleman here. I give to you the impartial speaker, the Honorable Mansour Nadir. You see him there? That's the man who has been reinforcing. You cannot say this and you cannot say that and you cannot say the other. Corruption is banned from Parliament. Fair enough. But what happened to Dildo? Huh? Dildo is does parliamentary language. Huh? And you're worthless. Very, very worthless. Operator, maybe you could just slide the pictures through. I don't think we want to have any particular order. We could just slide them through. So you saw that goodly gentleman there. I await the proceedings on Friday in Parliament. Mr. Speaker, you better know. You better know, Mr. Speaker, that there's an illegal alien sitting, an illegal squatter, let me use that term, in the Parliament. And you need to reinforce just the same way you're reinforcing parliamentary language, words that cannot be used and should not be used. You must enforce the rule too. If you have an illegal squatter in the parliament, you should enforce the rule that they be removed. And then I must bring to you my good sister there, Siobhan Green, who the police assaulted just a couple of days ago, January 5th, was another anniversary for the residents of Cane View, Mucka. You see how they're harassing her? Operator, maybe you can just probably bring her up a little closer. This was mud they had her in, Siobhan. Mud they had her in. Broke her house down. Every piece of beverage, every bottle with beverage, every case with beverage, the operator for that machine smashed them all. What he couldn't smash, he dug holes and he buried them. We must remember these things. We must remember them. These are issues that must be in our minds, in our mind's eye all the time. Don't talk about all those Afro-Guyanese and other young Guyanese young men who were killed, who were murdered at the hands of the Death Squad and Phantom Squad. Because according to Sean Hines, there were two, a Death Squad and a Phantom Squad. And then we got this one here, again, thanks to Gordon Mosley. This is the amount of barrels, amount of lifts, rather, of crude oil that we get every single day. You know, 228 lifts we had, 228 lifts, and every lift is 1 million barrels. Every lift is 1 million barrels. And you know how much we got out of that 228 lifts that we got into in 2024? 28. 28 we got. I mean, you see why the scale not balancing? The scale can't balance. And then they're going to throw that off to say it's the coalition who signed the agreement. But that agreement was signed since in Janet Jagan's time. Don't let them fool you. You must know the history. You must know things that happened. It was signed since Janet Jagan's time. That part of it. It was the coalition government who did some bit of renegotiation, and we moved from that 1 to 2. The percent was increased. It was under the coalition. And so they will come to dance around and tell us all kinds of nonsense. The PPP don't want anything good for Guyana. And for Guyana to grow, the PPP must go. And so because the PPP are so incompetent, they're selfish and greedy and arrogant. Look what they caused Prime Minister Modi to return to his country to say. When Prime Minister Modi came here, you know what they did? They didn't carry him around. He didn't meet Guyanese of all ethnic groups. They presented to him a picture that shows only Indo-Guyanese are doing well in this country. Now, remember, this is a multi-ethnic society that we're living in. We live in a multi-ethnic rich society that is rich with our cultures. And so Modi returned to his country to say that he went to this country in Guyana. This country, this nation, this Caribbean nation, and it resembles mini India. It resembles mini India because they took him here and they took him there and they took him there where they can show him an Indian private school, where they can show him the Indian monument, the garden there, and they had a fancy dinner where they only invited Indo-Guyanese. Y'all stop dividing this country. Stop it. Stop dividing this country. We are supposed to be one people, one nation, one destiny. All y'all doing is destroying this country. Look here, we got our children. These people so wicked that they're suffering our children. All the Granger buses, all of them, they got about 4 of them parked at whim by the post office there. Look, this is one that is parked. I think this is at Adventure somewhere there on the quarantine. All the Granger buses. What they ain't vandalized, they got them parked, taking sun and rain, and are destroyed. The boats that were presented to some of those communities, those riverine communities, you know what they did? They took away the boats from the residents. And those boats were supposed to have been used to transport children free of cost to and from school. But those days are going to return. We will return those days because education was free under the PNC. The PPP government instituted fees. We will ensure that education is free again. You know what? We got a university here. And instead of making our university a prime institution by expanding our university, you know what they prefer to do? They prefer to go and give Jane and Zane and all kind of names. They're giving scholarship to those they're giving monies to those universities outside of Guyana. When you have your very own that you should be proud of, the PPP must go. They're no good for Guyana. They must go. You have your university and you prefer to take the monies and spend it on universities overseas and boost other people's university rather than boosting your university. Priya is no good. Education will continue to be on the shambles, in shambles on the Priya. Our university that you're supposed to expand. Now, I noticed the other day the university asked for some monies, and you're talking about, oh, the university must deliver. They must deliver. What have they been doing all the time? Priya, you went right there. That's where you went first. Huh? You went there first. And so the university must now, imagine the university was delivering all the time, and Priya said that the university must deliver now because the people ask for money. They ask for more monies. And you're paying much more than that. Much more than that. You're paying with all of these scholarships that you're giving out to these universities overseas. And you know what? Our citizens are in shambles, confusion, language barrier, all hours in the night, 1 o'clock in the morning, and so on. They gotta be up because of the time difference. Priya, y'all are a set of wicked people. Wicked. Priya got scholarship. Wherever it was. Whether it was a full scholarship or part scholarship or the money was lent to pay for your studies overseas, you benefited from this country. Jaguar benefited from scholarship under Forbes Barnum. Who else? Frank Anthony too, I think. Several of you went to the Critchlow Labour College, and a day like today, y'all want to shut the Critchlow Labour College down. But I want to say to you, that's a workers' institution, and it's not going to fall. It is not going to fall. No subvention for the Critchlow Labour College. We've got this other university, University of Excellence. Not a scholarship. Dr. Stanley Paul is the principal there. Not a scholarship for him. Not one. But you're giving them out to Jane and Bain and Sane. And you got our own University of Guyana, where you're not willing to expand. The PPP is no good for Guyana. And in order for Guyana to grow, the PPP got to go. They must go. And we will ensure that they go. We want to see their backs. Too much corruption. It was the coalition government that caused this country to be off of the blacklist. We were blacklisted. We were blacklisted under the PPP. The PPP had 23 years to reign horror in this country. And in 4.5 years, they expected the coalition to create magic, to wave a magic wand, and things happen right away. And you know, I want to elaborate that under the coalition government, there was no oil money to spend. You now have oil money and you're refusing to raise the salaries of workers in this country. You're refusing, and we can't talk about health yet. Health in more shambles. I see just the other day, Frank Anthony went to declare some health outpost. $16 million for a wooden structure. A top flat alone it looked like a 2-bedroom house. $16 million. And then I saw another one for some other big millions. I noticed another one. But this is what these people do. A whole lot of contracts to friends and families, and they get a kickback from it. They're no good. That is why so many of them, you ask Priya, so many of them could build 1 and 2 and 3 mansions. They can get apartment buildings. They could get gas station. I hear a little birdie whisper to me about May's school, that somebody and somebody own May's school, but I'm going to find out more about that. I don't know if Auntie Priya got any information on it, since it's education. She might be able to tell us, or she can flip the script to say, correct the correctors. They like to talk this and they like to talk, but it's the truth we just talk like. Most of the times we tell the truth. Most of the times we tell you the truth. And when we don't have the correct information, we say approximately, or we assume. But most of the times we tell the truth. We tell the nation the truth. We give them the facts, and that's what y'all can't deal with. So the scales can't balance. Viewers, I want to thank you so much for being here with us. We can talk all night, you know that. But I know that you have lots of things to do. I have a few things to do, and I don't want us to not be here next Wednesday. So I'm going to leave you here with this for now. But I want to just admonish us and to caution us. Don't get caught up in the silly season with all the foolish talks. Don't get caught up with it. Because they're going to do things on purpose to aggravate some of you. Don't get caught up in the madness. Let's be very careful on the roadways. Be very, very careful on the roadways. I notice we have, again, water is a problem. Under the coalition, without oil money, we were able to have 24 hours of flowing clean water. The PPP returned brown water. And Sheikh Bash modeling himself all over the place. Brown water. Under the coalition, electricity full. Well, don't talk about the ships that they got. We got power ships too. The amount of monies we are using to rent those ships, and we still can't get electricity for a full day. I just saw somebody complain about Myconi. 6 hours every day is power outage. So what we doing with the power ship? Whose pockets the money is going into? In there, you name calling in a lot of things. But let's close off on this for this week. Thank you for being here with us. I do love you. And I want to remind you that we are one people, one nation, one destiny. Let's not allow those scams and those criminals on the other side there to distract us. Let's don't allow them to distract us. Let's don't allow them to misguide us. Elections time, they will come again. How much percent they gave you? 10. Then you get an 8. And then you'll get 9 or 10, 9 and 8 you'll get. But then they will come to tell you all sorts of madness. And they can come to give this grant and that grant. Take the grants. But go and put your exes in the right place. We got to get them out. They're no good for Guyana. So, like the Calypsonian said, we need a change. Do take care. I'll see you next week for more on advancing the cause. Have a good one, my friends. Bye-bye.